So we have now, and like I said, in the Rutgers at Buffalo game is at 2 Eastern, and it's sandwiched in between the two women NCAA Women's Championship games that are on ABC at 1 Eastern and 3 Eastern. Regional 2 Birmingham at 1 Eastern ABC. Regional 1 Spokane at 3 Eastern ABC. And then the fourth women's NIT quarterfinal, the grade 8 game, might be on Sunday, might be on Monday. Most likely, I'm guessing it'll be Monday because of the fact that there is what do I want to say? That game is Friday between Duquesne and Cleveland State and Butler and Purdue for me. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be on on Monday, but it may not be though. I'm guessing it will be because it is played on Friday, and they had a 3-day break in between. They're hosting. Each team was hosting in the second round. They had 3 days in between the second round and the Super 16. They do, and they might have another 3 days in between matchups. I'm assuming they might, probably will. And they'll be hosting that one. And so then for the WBIT semifinals, both of them are on ESPNU, and we have Villanova at Belmont at 2:30 Eastern. That's the early game. And then Florida at Minnesota at 5 Eastern ESPNU. And they are at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, the home of Butler University. And they're going to be playing both games at and they're early. I'm assuming the case is because the NCAA runs that tournament, that they wanted to have them early as a lead up for the people that like women's basketball, are big, huge, hardcore fans of women's basketball, watch any every women's basketball game like I do. I like watching like any and every game, regardless if it's WNIT, WBIT, NCAA tournament. Especially when after volleyball season's done, volleyball's on, the NCAA Division 2, the games they have Division 2 on or Division 3 on, or they have the NJCAA. I'll watch it all, So, I'm like, I'll watch any, but yeah, and then that's probably a lead up. I'm assuming the NCAA is using it as a lead up to the NCAA Women's Championship, the Regional 3 in Birmingham, the Elite 8 game at 7 Eastern ESPN, and the Regional 4 in Spokane at 9 Eastern ESPN. I'm assuming they're using that as to follow up, as a precursor, predecessor, or whatever you want to call it, like a lead-in, like to the Elite 8. So, but then the schools do have 2 women's NIT quarterfinal grade 8 games, but the schools are able to choose when they want to host the games, and obviously they want to host them at night, so. And obviously try at North Dakota State would, because especially they have that TV with WDAY. You want their fans across the state to be able to watch them. And I don't blame them either, If it was on Sunday, it might be in afternoon. I could see it being in the afternoon after the 2 women's NCAA championship games. Probably. Or maybe. But. And we'll see how and I'll let you know on the updates on Duquesne, Cleveland, Cleveland State, Butler, Purdue for me. I'll let you know on the updates on those 2 games. How those games end up. But I'll let you know on them. But right now, let's see, it's a 73.2% favorite to 26.8 for Duquesne according to ESPN Analytics. Butler 28.9, approval rating 70.1. So yeah, I'm gonna let you know. On like the matchup, who's playing, in the grade 8 and who's hosting that and when. Well, I'm assuming it's gonna be Monday, and if it is, after the WBIT semifinals, I'm not sure if Florida Minnesota, I'm gonna do a whoop around of. If I can do some whoop around, I'm gonna do some whoop around because there's the NJCA National Junior College Athletic Association semifinals on Monday at like I want to say one's at like 4 p.m. Mountain time. Let me see here. Let's see. Yeah, they have one at 5 or 4 p.m. Mountain, and 6:15 p.m. Mountain is the second game. So if they do, I'll be able to show you part of the first game. Actually, no, I won't. No, I won't. Yeah, I will. Yeah, actually, I will. I'll be able to show you the second half of the first game. Like some of the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter, and then probably the fourth quarter for sure, and then I'll be able to show you some of the second semifinal. That depends on when the games are being televised. When the other games are being televised on TV. I mean, if all three are, if I can show you the junior college games, and then the other one. I mean, either way, unless Butler's hosting it, which Butler can't host it. I mean, because of the fact that they're. I mean, unless it goes to Sunday, I should say Sunday. But Butler probably won't host it anyways because they're gonna have like the logos and stuff for WBIT on their range. I don't know. I mean, so, and then that'll be. But if that game goes to Monday, which it probably will, and it goes to ESPN Plus, which it guaranteed will be an ESPN Plus. So, regardless of who wins, so because Butler can't host, so I'm assuming it'll be Monday. So, and if I can do a little bit of whip around, I'll do a short whip around, for a little bit of time, and then in between that, and then when there's a break in between that halftime in the NJCA's finals, kind of that like coincide similar times. We have the first one halftime, and the whip around. And by the time the second NJCA starts, so you want to see all the games in full, but back because it'd be just like 2 games going back and forth. I like to win just 3 at least. But yeah, we'll do that, and then that will be the very last whip around. If that happens, if I can do whip around, then that will be the very last whip around of the season, unless the Fab Four there's the Fab Four on the first and the second, which most Fab Four games should be on the 2nd of April. And then if Minnesota's not playing in there, I will be able to do both Fab Four games, which is the semifinals of the WNIT, Women's NIT. I should be able to do that Fab Four whip around it with the WBT if Minnesota isn't playing it. But hopefully, I hope Minnesota's playing in it. But if they aren't, that's only if they aren't. and there's both games. One will be Monday, one's going to be Wednesday, and then one of them might be on, if both are playing Sunday, if the in the other rates of the grade 8 on the grade 8 games, then if one's, you know what I mean, if the bomb right game, the Cleveland State winner and the Butler Purdue Fort Wayne one play Monday, then both will be Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's only if Minnesota is not playing in the WBIT championship. Then I'll be able to whip run for a little short time, because the NJCAA tournament is at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Pacific. And it's on TV at 6 Eastern before the NBA G League playoffs start, because they do, and they're at Eastern and to Eastern. So that's why it's a little bit early. And they have, but that's only if Minnesota not playing. And there's, those two, but both. And then, but otherwise, the whip around, the very last whip around, will be on Monday, if there's enough whip around to do. Otherwise, the very last whip around was today. I'm assuming that the whip around will be a little bit of a whip around on Monday, and that'll be the very last whip around of the 2024-25 NCAA women's basketball season. The very last whip around of the year. That should be the very last whip around. So I'll end the whip around here. I'm gonna do it. In this video, I'm gonna do some whip around on Monday if I can. So, because I can't do the NCAA Women's Championship games, because those are going to be copyrighted by ESPN and like the NCAA. But the other tournaments, like the WBIT, the women's NIT, just treat like a regular game. But I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm not going to do like the championships. That's like the second tiers. Or the women's NT is the third tier. But in this case, so yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna do whip around Monday if I can. Otherwise, you've seen the very last little bit of whip around here today. I hope there's enough for another one, because you gotta make it proper, end it right properly. You know what I mean?